back. Third video in this lesson, right? I'm going to try to make this one fairly short. I need to give you the definitions here that you can write down and have them in your notes for studying and for we have a test, an open notes test, okay? So these are things I'm going to want you to know. I don't have you write down stuff just to do it because the things that I have you write down, and if it's white, you got to write. That's the stuff that I consider the key learnings, right? And so make sure you do that. If I go too fast and progress to the next slide, then just pause the video and write it down. Okay, so let's get some definitions here. Controlled experiment, here's how I want to describe it at this point. A controlled experiment is a way to discover what effect something has. Like it might be the effect of fertilizer on plant growth, might be the effect of, I don't know, a pain remedy on a headache, might be the effect of sugar on weight gain, whatever. By comparing it to a situation that's is identical, except for the thing you're trying to learn about. What that means is if you have an experiment, all the variables, everything possible has to be exactly the same, except if you change, I don't know, the fertilizer, whether you talk to the plant, whatever it is that you're testing, that's the only thing that's different. So if you then see the responding variable respond to that, you know that that's what caused it, or at least you could be fairly confident of that. Now, this would be an example. You got two groups here. What do you think they're testing in here? Can you see this picture? You have these kids sitting around, like doing schoolwork or whatever, and here they are sitting around doing schoolwork. But what's going on? Okay, so you have two different groups. What's happening here, it should be identical situations, same desk, same work. The kids randomly selected, so there isn't any preference of one over the other. Any other variables mixed in by the random selection should equalize. Except they got a band playing behind them. Bunch of noise and distraction. That would be probably trying to study the effect of distracting big band music on your ability to study. So that would be identical situation in the one group and the second group, okay? And so you got to have something to compare. You can't just go, wow, these people were really doing crummy work because, and there was a band playing there. Well, that's just an association, but it isn't any kind of real proof because maybe they would have done crummy anyway for some other reason. You got to see what would it have been like if the band hadn't been there. That's the controlled experiment. If you don't have that written down, pause the video because we're moving on. Here's probably my favorite way to define controlled experiment. A controlled experiment is an experiment where only one variable is changed. Only one variable is changed. You got two different groups, and there's only one difference between those groups. And that's what that thing, it's called the manipulated variable. That's the next lesson. That one thing that's different, you're trying to find out if it's going to have impact or not, if it has an effect, right? If everything else is the same and the results are different, well, you know, that gives you a good reason to think that it was that one thing that caused the difference. So here we go. The experiment is the effect of biofertilizer X on plant growth. You can't just put the fertilizer on the plant and go, okay, let's see how it grows. You got to compare it to something. So here's the one that doesn't have the biofertilizer X in it. So this would be an experimental group, the one that has the fertilizer. The control group is the one that doesn't. And everything else, including the light and the soil and the kind of plant and the randomly selected, the temperature in the air, the amount of CO2, everything like that is all exactly the same in both cases, except for the fertilizer. That's a controlled experiment. Only one variable is changed. And that's called the manipulated variable, or sometimes it's called the independent variable. Okie doke. All right. So now what I want you to do is answer the questions, and don't forget, I want to just make sure I keep repeating this. Go outside. Get some activity going. Make your blood flow. Walk your dog. Ride your bike. Play some tennis. Whatever it is. You got to stay physical, okay? School is primarily mental, but your brain is part of your body. And if your body is like lousy, got really bad circulation and stuff, then so's your brain, okay? You can't optimally function unless you get exercise. So don't forget that, and I'll see you next time. Bye.